Rex Ryan thought it was just another hot take, another rant at the ESPN desk, another chance to flex his old-school credibility by tearing down a rookie quarterback who hasn't even taken an NFL snap. But this time, it backfired.
Manziel Mania and the following that he had a really, really dedicated, loyal, and kind of angry following if you weren't all on board with him. And it was sort of the same thing with Baker Mayfield. But this is that on steroids. I mean, this is way even more so than the vitriol and the vituperous nature of the response that we had back then with Johnny and Baker when things were not going well with those guys. And I don't really know exactly what it is, although I do think that it has something to do with the fact that there is more social media now. There's just everyone is on social media. Everyone has a voice, and they do live in the fishbowl, the Sanders family, and you've got the whole Dion factor and everything. So it's been interesting. It's been really interesting.
Because when Rex Ryan went scorched earth on Shedeur Sanders, ripping him really strongly, as Mary Kay Cabot put it, he didn't just criticize the young quarterback's football. He attacked his character. He mocked his work ethic. He called out his maturity. And for a while, it seemed like Rex had won the narrative. Clips of his rant went viral, fans piled on, and Shedeur's silent, miming press conference became a social media circus. But then something happened that flipped the entire conversation. Mary Kay, one of the most respected insiders in Cleveland and a reporter who's covered the NFL for decades, stepped in. And instead of echoing Rex's criticism, she defended Shedeur. Not in a soft, he's just young way. Not with excuses. She defended him with facts, with context, with receipts. She revealed stories from training camp. She explained why silence might have been Shedeur's smartest move. And suddenly, Rex Ryan wasn't the authority anymore. He was the one under fire. This isn't just a story about a rookie quarterback and a retired coach. This is a story about media power, about perception, and about how one young player is being judged under a spotlight brighter than almost anyone else in the league. So the real question is this: did Shedeur Sanders just get exposed? Or is he quietly playing chess while everyone else is stuck on checkers?
You know what? Like, I look at Stefanski as an outstanding coach, all right? But why the hell isn't he putting Shedeur Sanders? We're all waiting to see the Shedeur Sanders be the guy, or Gabriel, whatever. Something's missing. Something's missing with this kid. This kid talks. He runs his mouth like I could be a starting quarterback with his arms crossed like this. Get your ass in the front row and study and do all that. If I know, the whole league knows. Quit being an embarrassment that way. You got the talent to be the quarterback. You should be embarrassed that you're not the quarterback now.
Rex Ryan has never been shy. From his days coaching the Jets and Bills to his years as an analyst, he's built a reputation on saying exactly what's on his mind. No filter, no hesitation. But this time, his words didn't just spark debate. They sparked a firestorm. On ESPN's Get Up, Rex launched into Shedeur Sanders with a rant that felt less like analysis and more like a personal attack. He didn't just question Shedeur's readiness. He dismissed his entire approach. "Get your ass in the front row and study," Rex barked, accusing Sanders of laziness, immaturity, and disrespect. It was harsh. It was cutting. And for a moment, it was the only voice the public heard. Fans saw the viral clip of Shedeur miming his press conference.
Vocally, anything to say?
How much has Joe been important to both you and Dylan in terms of your guys' development to this point?
Refusing to give words to the media, and Rex's narrative seemed to fit perfectly. See, critics said, "This kid's not serious. He's arrogant. He thinks he's bigger than the game." On social media, hashtags like #immature and #entitled trended. The perception was locked in. Rex Ryan was right, and Shedeur Sanders was just another overhyped name riding his father's coattails. But here's where the story takes a turn. Because buried under the noise was something much deeper. Shedeur didn't mime out of arrogance. He didn't stay silent because he was lazy or unprepared. He made a choice, a calculated one. And that choice was about control. Enter Mary Kay Cabot, a veteran Browns reporter with decades of credibility.
Hi, this is Mary Kay Cabot from Cleveland.com on day 7 of
Well, we had a little bit of an offensive nugget today with Shedeur Sanders. He worked against the first-team defense for the first time in camp. I haven't seen that in OTAs. I never saw it in minicamp. Haven't seen it in the first 6 days of training camp, but we saw it out here today. Now, curiously, he worked with the second-team offense against the first-team defense, but that's just par for the course. These guys are kind of mixing and matching. But nonetheless, his first work against that starting defense, first chance to look out there and see Myles Garrett and Mason Graham, Greg Newsome.
She saw what others didn't. She'd been in the locker room. She'd observed Shedeur during camp. And when she spoke, the narrative shifted. Suddenly, Rex's hot take wasn't gospel. It was on trial. Mary Kay Cabot isn't just any reporter. She's one of the most trusted voices in Cleveland sports. Someone who's seen generations of players rise and fall. Someone who knows when a narrative is being twisted. And when she spoke up on Shedeur Sanders, her words hit harder than Rex Ryan's entire rant. Instead of calling Shedeur immature, Mary Kay framed his silence as strategy. She revealed something the national audience hadn't seen. Shedeur knows he's a content machine. Every time he opens his mouth, it becomes a headline. Every reaction gets clipped, debated, and turned into another hot take on shows like Rex's. So what did Shedeur do? He took away their ammo. At that press conference, when the world was waiting for him to fire back at Rex Ryan or defend himself, Shedeur refused to play the game. He chose silence. He chose to communicate through mimes, frustrating the media, confusing the critics, but keeping full control of his words. And then came the bombshell. Mary Kay shared a story from training camp. Shedeur once walked into a room while a teammate was speaking at the podium. The cameras instantly turned to him, but instead of taking the spotlight, he stopped in his tracks and whispered to the PR staff, "I'm not talking until he's finished." He didn't want to steal the moment from someone else. That's not arrogance. That's awareness. That's maturity. And it completely changes how we view the miming incident. Mary Kay argued that Shedeur wasn't being disrespectful at all. He was trying not to overshadow Dillon Gabriel's big day. In one moment, the narrative flipped. Rex Ryan looked reckless. Mary Kay looked measured. And Shedeur? He looked smarter than anyone had given him credit for. Here's the thing most people missed in this entire saga. Shedeur Sanders is not your typical rookie quarterback. He's not a no-name backup fighting for scraps. He's the son of Deion Primetime Sanders. He's a former Heisman candidate. He's already got national endorsements, millions of followers, and a spotlight brighter than almost any young player in the league. And that spotlight cuts both ways. It gives him influence, attention, and opportunities most rookies never get. But it also makes him a target. Every mistake is magnified. Every gesture is scrutinized. Every press conference becomes a national story, even when he doesn't say a word. That's why Rex Ryan's rant hit differently. It wasn't just about X's and O's. It wasn't about Shedeur's mechanics, his arm, or his playbook knowledge. It was personal. It was an older generation of football voices trying to put a young, confident, media-savvy player in his place. And fans saw it. Many sided with Rex at first. But once Mary Kay Cabot laid out the full picture, the internet turned. Suddenly, the hot take king looked outdated, and the 23-year-old mimer looked like he was playing a smarter game than anyone realized. That here's the truth. Shedeur Sanders is in an impossible spot. He's QB3 on the Browns' depth chart. He's used to being the guy, but now he's forced to wait, to learn, to grind behind the scenes. That frustration is real, but what separates Shedeur from others is how he channels it. Instead of blowing up, instead of firing back at Rex Ryan with reckless quotes, he made a silent statement that got the world talking. And that's where the future gets interesting. Because at some point, Shedeur will get his shot. Injuries happen. Depth charts change. And when that moment comes, the same people calling him immature today will be lining up to say they always believed in him. The real question isn't whether Shedeur Sanders belongs. The real question is, will Rex Ryan and all the critics admit they were wrong when he proves it on the field? Until then, the silence speaks louder than words.
If you believe in Shedeur Sanders, hit that like button, subscribe, and smash the bell icon. Because the next chapter of this story is just getting started.